And we're going. Here's our intro.
Welcome to the Tar and Feather Podcast. Here are your hosts, Mustached Vet and Ganglion Cortex.
Welcome to episode 21 of Tar and Feather Podcast. I'm Mustached Vet, and with me is Ganglion Cortex.
Hi.
What's up, brother?
Hey, Scott.
Oh, no. Hey, how are you doing today? Let's start off with that.
Well, me personally, doing pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, doing
Nice.
real good. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Didn't rain today though, so
Oh, man.
no cool off. It's still 94.
Whew. Yeah, it was 95 today, and then we got rain, so it was hot and then muggy. I was in the garage working out, and within like 3 sets, man, my shirt was already soaked. I had to put a bandana on my head to keep the sweat out of my eyes. Hair was completely drenched. It was like I just took a shower. It was nuts. It was a good workout though. I hit back and arms today.
Yeah, that definitely adds an extra challenge when you're sweating that much.
Yeah.
Takes a lot to keep going, right?
Well, I had the fan going in the garage, just a little tiny one. I'm getting a shot fan here soon. A nice big shot fan. Yeah. My wife said that I could get one. So, well, I was going to get one anyways.
A
But
high mover.
I'm getting a giant fan. I'm going to put it near the door of the garage, the walk-in door. And then it's going to face the 2 larger doors, and it's going to suck all that cool air from outside of the garage, because it's a little bit cooler outside of the garage. It gets stuffy inside, so it's going to pull all that fresh air into the garage. Hopefully,
You're definitely gonna have some air movement now.
also, I was thinking about getting a hanging fan that can rotate, and maybe put that near the squat rack.
Yeah, I do seem to remember a similar fan setup at the DEP Powerhouse Gym.
Because I do have an outlet right next to the squat rack, so I can just plug directly into that. Too easy.
Yeah. I need some air movement when I'm working out for sure.
Yes. It gets stuffy in there, and then I got to walk out of the garage to get some air, walk back in.
Yeah, it's distracting. Really slows you down.
Trying to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have been stuffy all day, and getting that workout in opened it up.
Oh,
So,
okay. I like that.
it
Just
is.
like when you eat something spicy,
Mm-hmm.
flushed it out.
Hot shower usually, maybe a wet cloth over the face. Breathe in and out a couple times.
Yeah.
Cinnamon seems to help a little bit too. Did you know that? Cinnamon helps with the mucus back there. So if you're getting some irritability behind your nostrils in the sinus area, cinnamon, a teaspoon of cinnamon,
Keep that in mind.
helps you out, helps clear you up.
I'll have to see if we got the cinnamon essential oil.
Ooh,
Go hard.
nice.
Go hard on it.
Something about oregano oil too, I think, is good for that as well.
There's a lot of benefits with that.
I bought some, but then I stopped using it, and then I was like, I forgot why I bought this. You know, when
And
you
now
got,
you remember. Perfect.
I have two racks of supplements, and half of them I'm like, why did I even buy that?
Failed experiments.
No. Well, it's just I forget to take them, and then they just sit for over a month or so, and then I'm like, should I go back to those? Should I do this? Should I do that? Like
You
right now, I'm
could-
taking a.
Yeah, you could just call it like delayed disbursement, just instead of just eating them all up front every day, single day, it's just more of a lifestyle, right? Spread them out.
Right. I mean,
More
it's whatever.
efficient.
Well, I also kind of think about what makes you feel good, and if you don't feel any different, then why keep doing it? Why waste your money on something that's not making a difference? So if I'm not like, if if I'm going throughout my day and I'm like, well, I didn't take those pills, but I also don't feel any different than when I did take them. Why continue to keep
Maybe it
shelling
was the
out money for
placebo.
this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this stuff works for some people. There's a reason why they're out there, I assume. Some stuff I'm sure is probably snake oil, but for the majority of the
You're
natural
right.
stuff that's out there, I'm sure there's proof that they work, right?
Some
So,
things have been demonstrated to definitely work. You're right. And
yeah.
then placebo effect is real. So like you need to always be in a positive mindset, thinking the
Yes.
best for sure. Just the
Hydration's
fact
key.
that all studies show placebos showing some type of an effect, keep
Yeah.
doing it. And
Right.
you were gonna say what?
I
Hydrate.
forgot. Yes, hydrate and sleep. And I don't get enough sleep, so
Yes, the
I
three
know
pillars.
that's a major factor in certain things if I'm not feeling my best.
Mm-hmm.
So, working on that.
Sleep rebuilds, and it's a process.
We're working on sleep. I normally get 7 to 8 hours on the weekends, like Friday night to Saturday morning, Saturday night to Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Normally get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but throughout the week, it's normally like 5.
Ooh,
or,
yeah.
Or 6. 6 at most usually. Just either
that
on my
is
either
the
on my
modern struggle.
phone.
Trying to get that balance in.
Right, I'm either on my phone or YouTube or watching a TV show, and I'm like, ooh, next episode, please. Ooh, next episode. And it just continues on.
Yeah.
So.
For me, I kind of have like a dedicated bedtime, so
Right.
just being rigorous with it and adhering to that.
Right.
Like if you want to be asleep by a certain time because you want to be up by a certain time, then that's just what you're playing with. So
yeah, you got to get in a good routine, like we were saying on the previous
it's a long process,
episode.
right?
Getting your ducks in a row, and that's it starts with you. It starts with your health, being responsible and accountable to yourself.
Health's not just working out, right? Yeah, exactly.
No. Thing is, working out is that last step. That's the last step. Like nutrition, sleep, and hydration is above all. And then working out is just the icing on the cake, really. It's like that last 25%.
That's the build out.
That gets you over the plateau. That gets you through breaking that glass ceiling, It gets you through, and you either
keeps you
get
afloat
leaner,
when you're worn down, right? Because now you
yes.
can go into the reserve of all that working out that you did, and so when you're like worn out and tired, you actually are below a state of like your normal baseline, and so that's why you want your baseline to continuously progress each day, year after year, and be stronger and stronger. So then when you're old, they have the studies about the muscle mass and the bone density. It's key. It's all from the movement.
Yeah. Do you want to be a frail 78-year-old man tripping upstairs? No, absolutely not.
You want to be briskful. You want freedom of movement. You want comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so comfort then requires some pain now. And I've called it manage pain. You can manage the pain now, or you could have it manage you later.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's all about progression. You don't have to necessarily go right into like
you're not running a marathon day one.
What's that very popular workout routine, or that workout like DVD that used to be
that P45 or something?
P90? P90X. P90X.
Yeah.
So I did P90X one time. I did it for I think a week.
Okay.
and I tried to do their repetitions, their time, and everything. That made me so incredibly sore and worn out and defeated.
Yeah.
I stopped. And this is like I was trying to get back into this was I think I was 24.
So
So I was
you were
trying to get
young,
back
Scott. You had
trying to get
plenty
back into
of
working out.
stamina.
I did not. At this time I was kind of down on myself. This was right after the army. I thought I was going to have to start walking with a cane. I felt like my back was that worn
Oh,
out.
really? Yeah.
I was
Okay.
getting sharp pains in the sciatica was really bad. It was hurting me every day. But it was because I wasn't moving around. I was feeling
Mm,
sorry for myself and not doing anything, drinking a lot, just being miserable. And then
stagnant.
I was like, I remember one day I was looking at canes on Amazon,
Hmm.
like an army cane or something that you would see maybe a Vietnam vet
Yeah.
or
I'm trying to like
somebody
justify
at
like a nice one.
somebody at the VA, seeing another veteran at the VA with a cane, and you're like, oh, I probably should
Hmm.
get one. But I knew as soon as that happened, there was almost no going back. Like
Yeah.
there is
Exactly.
going back, but you're giving up. You're
That's
giving
true.
in.
Yeah.
So if you can move one leg in front of the other, get it
You
done.
can't stop. Yeah, you got to keep going.
No.
Definitely.
So the last 13 years or 12 years, I'm only 36 now. I'm trying to age myself already. My birthday's in September. It's getting close. 37 is getting close. So 12 and a half years now of working out. I mean, I've had my moments of working out religiously and then kind of falling off.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've been consistent.
That's what matters.
And it shows, baby.
There we
And it
go.
shows. Whew. Little crampy.
Oh, yeah.
I did
Fill it back
did
up.
back I did back and arms today, so they're a little crampy. I didn't drink enough water today.
Well, I do think that's it is a pretty powerful testimony because I think many people, many young men find themselves in those positions thinking like the worst, right? Oh, this and that.
Right.
My friend Ball, which maybe we'll have him on at some point, was in a terrible motorcycle accident, broke his back, and he was, maybe in the same boat. He can explain it for himself, but
Yeah.
found out, you know, a new hobby was rock climbing after he
Oh
regained
wow.
a purpose in a sense, and that's what it takes. You need to find some type of goal, some type of hobby. Got to do something.
That's
We can't be
yeah,
doing
yeah.
nothing, right? 'Cause the cane's doing nothing. That's just
Yep.
maintaining the problem.
That's making it worse because
Making it
now
a lot worse.
you're leaning on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start coping I mean, I guess coping is good in certain
Yeah.
senses, but
You may need to.
yeah,
Some people's injuries may be that severe, but I think the general
right.
mentality has to remain in there's a solution or it'll get better.
Hmm.
Because if you think
Right.
it's going to get worse, it will indeed get worse.
Yeah.
Something about the cells will be convinced by your brain to make it worse. I don't know.
Right. No, that's
It,
definitely
isn't our brain controlling the functions of everything? So if you're in like a constant state of duress, that duress goes throughout all
mhm.
cells of your body.
Yeah.
Why would
It
it
can
not?
continue. I'm sure there's studies that say that it continues inflammation. It I mean, stress in general just affects everything. It affects your vital organs, it affects your
It's
heart,
not good.
it affects your brain, just everything. So trying to stay in a positive mindset, pushing yourself beyond your normal limit,
Mm-hmm.
getting out of your comfort zone. And today, I mean, I got out of my comfort zone. I hate doing pull-ups. I do. I hate doing pull-ups. I don't know why. I just hate doing pull-ups, and I got my pull-ups done today.
Okay,
So
good.
I did 4 or 5 sets. I can't remember. 4 or 5 sets of 5 pull-ups each. Like I said, I suck at them,
Yeah.
and that's why, because I suck at them.
Well, see, I've never sucked at pull-ups, but I did stop for a while.
Yeah.
Up until about kind of when I first started working my current job, there's like at the last shop there was these bars out front and I could jump up and there were these square ones, boom, and I could grab on
Hmm.
square like this, and I just started doing someday, and
Yeah.
eventually seeing your squat totals, at the time, hitting
Yeah.
400 and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I need to start moving. I'm
Yeah.
too young to not be moving, and it was a slow, meticulous process because we're going for long term, right? We're not trying to do something within the end of the year necessarily.
Right.
Maybe we have some goals,
Well,
but
we
our
are this year.
overall goal is the end of yeah, oh
We're
yeah,
trying to hit thousand pound club.
that's true. And I
We're
have
trying to
not
hit
checked my totals lately.
we're trying to hit. I haven't either, but I've been working on a certain regiment, and it is straight training base.
Hmm.
So I have an app from Jim Stepani. If anybody wants to look him up on YouTube, he is a great personal trainer. He is a doctor. He has a supplement line, all that fun stuff. But he's got an app. Let me see if I can get it without the. He's got an app.
It's not loaded.
I don't. I don't think you can see it. Um, but it gives you all of the workouts for that day. And the one that I'm working on it's called Strong in 8. So strong in 8 weeks. And
Okay.
all of it's based on getting stronger. So this week, everything is 4 sets with 7 to 9 reps. So you wanna be done at 9 reps. But if you can hit 7, then that's the weight that you need to be doing that
Hmm.
exercise with. If you can hit 9, then you need to go up in weight and then hit 7. If
Okay,
you
I
hit
like that.
6,
Hmm.
if you hit 6, that's good too, I'd say. But
Okay,
you need to be uncomfortable.
I
You
I
have to
agree.
you have to go beyond. If you want to do a certain regiment, you got to go beyond in order to get better, because it's like running a marathon, right? You just don't practice for 26.2 miles. You run for 30 miles in
Hmm.
order to run 26 miles efficiently. To be able
Yeah.
to get to 27, especially if you're competing, because now your stress levels through the roof, right? Your adrenaline's pumping. Those first couple miles are probably going to be really good for you. But then you got to maintain. You got to understand your pace. And so going above that pace
Above now, yeah.
will let you perform much better in competition or just life in general. Like when life calls upon
So what
it,
you're saying
you
is
can
there's no
perform.
sense in just showing up to the gym to do the same amount of things that you just did the day before.
It really doesn't, but if you get to the gym, that's a plus. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong.
Oh,
Getting to the gym, if you have everybody has bad days. There's days that I work out and I
yeah.
do the
So
bare minimum.
Brooks talked about this, and I've thought about it too. And we're all in like a different flight path, right? And we're all in a different spot, like in takeoff, or like some
Mhm.
people are in a jet and they want to be real aggressive to get to where they're at. Other people are in a Cessna and they're just trying to go somewhere and be
Yep.
on that level. And so
Right.
can't really judge anyone else because everyone else is at a different time of their own life and their own
Mhm.
fitness journey, right? So
Well,
as
so are
long as you're
you.
doing some stuff.
But so are
Hmm.
you. No matter, like, some people will bulk for a certain time of the year. Some people will cut for a certain time of the year. Some people don't even
Yeah.
prescribe to that, right? Some people just want to maybe be the same body fat percentage throughout, but maybe get a little bit bigger, or they just want to get leaner and that's it, and then maintain strength. It's all about functionality, really. It's all about what you want to do with your life. Like, what you're doing is a hobby. Does it help you with your hobby? If you kayak,
Hmm.
if you're a bowler or a golfer, right? So
Right.
working on mobility
Do
and
something that
certain.
complements your lifestyle.
Yes, that helps a lot, because then your hobby becomes more fun because you're more agile. You can perform better. All of a sudden, you open up this new world to to something that you already love. You're like, oh my God, I can hit the ball 10 yards further now. Right?
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm
it
throwing,
all makes a difference for sure.
Maybe I'm able to bowl more games. Like in a tournament, I'm able to actually. So some tournaments are 3 games, some are 6, some are 9, some 12 and above. Right? When you get in the professionals, they bowl an ungodly amount of games in one day. So they got to qualify, and then they got to bowl in the actual like players.
Anyway, they don't
players
stop.
match.
They just keep going.
Well, it's like a 3 or 4 day event, right? And so
Your arm's wrecked at the end, isn't it?
But like 1 to 2 days, it's a lot of bowling, because they've got to get a high total to kind of start separating the field. Because then you when you bowl like 12 games in a day, and then you bowl another 12 that day, so you get an amount like 24 games of bowling. Those pin totals, some guys can perform really well for the first day, but the next day they're worn out because they just can't perform at that pace. And then that starts separating the guys that are elite from the guys that are
underside of bowling that people would not really consider or think about, and it is more. So when people say like, "Oh, it's just bowling. You don't need to be athletic." Like, you need to be athletic in a different way. You're not a baseball or a linebacker. So no, you're not that athlete. You're not a wrestler, but a wrestler also couldn't throw a ball 12 games in a row. Not efficiently, or not. They wouldn't score well. So they could throw it down there, but
yeah, that's relative.
Yeah.
Throwing a ball down the lane is relative. Anybody can throw a bowling ball down the lane. Now it's whether or not you keep it on the lane or you get a strike. It depends on your score and whatnot. So,
and then if you don't get the strike right, it's a lot harder for people who are not as accurate or as controlling over the ball.
So if you were to see a single pin down the lane, you find that difficult, right? To try and hit that single pin that's down there, right? As opposed to all 10.
I don't know.
Right? Some people,
not necessarily for me.
If you don't bowl that frequently or whatever, usually that single pin is harder to get. Splits are very difficult. Splits are difficult for everybody.
I can't do it at all.
It takes a bit of luck and practice and understanding the angle. How to, coming
you always have
from
some
left to right
variable, right? You like with the floor, with the air temperature, like all kinds of stuff.
Well,
adds up at
well, I throw. Not to get too far in the nitty gritty of it, but I normally throw a spare ball at my splits, and that goes straight. It goes completely straight. It doesn't curve. So I know my angle, so I throw directly at one spot. I try and hit the side of the pin that I need to hit it on, and then I send the pin the other direction. And depending on the degree that you hit that side of the pin is the degree that the ball or that the pin heads over to the other pin. And you can either bounce it off the sidewall or you can hit it directly on the pin, right? Or some splits, the ball can hit one pin and then deflect into the other pin. So there's certain splits that you can do that way, or you can send the pin into the other pin, depending on the arrangement of splits that you left. Now, if you throw a straight ball, you tend to get more splits. If you curve the ball and you're good at it, you can mitigate those splits. You can manage your misses. So it's just like golf, managing your misses. You hit to the open part of the course, and then that way you're not hitting into trees, you're not hitting into water. You play the course a certain way as opposed to just nailing it straight down the fairway or whatever. So if you know it, you miss right on certain occasions, you can play a little further left, or if you do hit a little further left, you can play a little further right. You make adjustments and you hit into the open part of the course as opposed to
That's my
trying to
problem.
nail
That's
it.
been my problem with golf is trying to be McGuire out there and getting the 300-yard instead of just trying to get down the 100, 200,
Oh,
starting
Happy Gilmore.
small. And, well, so, yeah, and you set up and you think, oh, I'm going to hit this thing instead of getting comfortable and controlling the ball first and then whopping it down the field.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, there's some occasions where it's really cool to try and hit it as hard as you can, or to try and hit it through a thin window. Like if you got to try and hit it through trees or under
that sounds
a tree.
kind of fun. Yeah.
So that is fun. And if I'm playing by myself, I'll normally play one ball safe into the fairway, and then my second shot, I'll try and hit that really cool shot, that once in a blue moon shot through under the branches or through a couple trees. I'll do that.
You're one
But
freebie.
yeah, because what's the fun if you don't practice that stuff in real life? You can't practice that stuff on the range. So why not practice it when you're just practicing? When you're just playing by yourself.
That's that controlled pain, right? Because then, okay, so it doesn't go as far as you wanted, but you were expecting it. So
yeah,
that was a possible outcome.
Play one ball safe, and then nail the other one is however you want. Try and practice something. Put the placement of the ball differently, using a different club to try and get it to do what you want. I've been able to get some balls to curve around an obstacle. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I smack it right into that tree. So, but it's all about just having fun, managing your misses, managing your expectations. That's a big one when it comes to bowling, golf, any kind of sport related hobby. It's all about managing your expectations. That's what it boils down to. And that's what boils down in life too. Like when you're working, do you just get upset like right away when you can't figure something out?
Not anymore.
Right. You've learned to manage your expectations because you're not going to know everything right off the bat, even if it is your profession. You're not going to know everything right off the bat. So you've got to take a step back and be like, well, give me a second chance at this. And that's exactly what we're talking about when it comes to golf or whatever, or life in general, really. Give yourself a second chance. Give yourself some grace.
It is advisable to step back, take a big break, pause, and breathe. That's what I've been trying to tell my youngest son. He's been getting real frustrated, and we're not really sure why. And it's just emotional, just letting whatever get fired up, and then it's like, what's going on, buddy? You're gonna have to stop it, because you cranked it up, and like you're the only one that cranked it up. And so
with me, with me, it's normally lack of sleep, or I'm hungry, I'm malnourished. Those are my two big things when I'm very irritable. When I'm very irritable. So stupid. If I can keep myself hydrated, stay away from headaches, stay away from feeling.
My son does not like water, so it's going through.
I know it's a thing for us dudes to be like, well, did you drink enough water today? It's a big thing.
Well, and
There's
I don't
a reason
have
why everybody asks that.
Scott, I don't have it with me, but I did within 2 months. I read a study, and it was talking about brain shrinkage and even mild dehydration, and you're not operating on all cylinders. It's just that simple. Right. Even at mild dehydration, your mind's being robbed of resources, and it's going into crisis mode, right? And it's sending all available resources to keep you alive, and so your thought process does degrade. It's proven.
Yeah, you start getting that brain fog, you start getting irritable, you start getting mad at yourself. And at that point, there's sometimes once I did eat something, or once I did drink a bottle of water or something like that, I take a step back and I think I didn't even need to get that mad, because really I got it done. It just took a little bit longer than expected, or I went about it the wrong way, you know?
And how much longer does it take when we're frustrated, right? Everything takes longer. You drop your
Twice.
tool twice as many times.
Hmm.
You grab the wrong thing, and now you're mad that you grabbed the wrong thing. Like those are all
Or
like choice decisions, you
you
know?
go to pick something up, and then all of a sudden you drop it right there. You didn't quite grasp it. Like that's my issue sometimes. I try and grab something, and I'm moving at the same time I go to grab it, and I don't grab it, or
Yeah,
it falls out of
right.
my hand, or
Moving, moving,
something.
moving too quick.
Yeah. Normally it's due to being tired and thirsty. So
And it's a real problem, and it's okay to take 5 minutes and take a water break. Even as an adult in a professional setting, you can tell other people that you need a break.
yes, I
So
need to eat a
take care
sandwich
of
right
yourself,
now.
right?
Let's find a good stopping point, and
Mm-hmm.
telling yourself that too, giving yourself like little segments
A defined
throughout,
stopping point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
divine stopping points. Like, hey, if so, I work on generators. If I get the oil filters done, I'll take a quick 5 minute break, water break. Get you know maybe sit in my truck for 5 minutes, let the AC blow on me for a little bit, hop back out, do the fuel filters, drain the oil, maybe drain the oil at the same time I'm doing the fuel filters, right? Um,
Yeah.
whatnot.
Doubling
Finding
up.
those little, finding those, and also segmenting your day helps instead
Don't
of
take
thinking
the
that you got to
whole.
get all
Mhm.
of this done in one day,
Don't
right?
take that whole generator at once, right? 'Cause you're not gonna do everything at the exact same time, so you don't
Right.
have to worry about it at the whole same time. So, like you're saying, drain the oil, collect yourself while it's draining. Watching
Your
that,
mic's your
monitoring.
mic's going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. Much better.
So, like, so yeah, just take your time and collect yourself. So,
Yeah.
like I was saying, you're draining the oil. You're thinking of the next step. You don't have to go to the next step because you're
Right.
still on one step. Like you're doing something.
Right.
You don't have to get ahead of ourselves.
Right. Take your
But
time. Make sure you get the job done correctly, because once you start doing one thing or the other, like I've accidentally overfilled a bucket of oil, draining oil while I was doing something else, while walking over to
mhm,
the other side of the generator or something.
thinking
And
you can get back in time.
you come back and you're like,
It sounds
and
different.
you don't hear, yeah, or you don't hear it. That's when you're in trouble, when you don't hear the overfill,
Yeah.
because it's not rushing out. If I put a hose in a bucket and it's not, there's no pressure on it, it's just coming
Uh
out of
huh.
the hose, you don't hear it, and
That's
then
my
it just
deal. If
overfills.
anything sounds different, I get real nervous
Mm-hmm.
real quick in my
Uh-huh.
profession because I'm like, oh, it's leaking somewhere.
My
It's
problem
pouring
is
down.
when I'm working on a generator and another piece of equipment in the room will turn on. And
Yeah,
then
it'll get you,
I'm
huh?
like I'm like, that's not the generator, but what is that? Did I
Yeah,
accidentally touch something? Did I bump into something?
that's
So,
kind of what I was thinking too as well. Yeah, I've
yeah.
like working in a gas station or somewhere, a convenience store,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I'm inside a machine, and then just like boom, and you're like, oh no,
Yep.
it's
Ooh, I
nothing.
forgot to turn it off. I forgot to
Do
do my
we?
lockout tag out. OSHA's
Yeah.
watching. All right.
OSHA, SMOSHA.
So we're gonna have to notify our viewers when we start this part of the segment. So I'll put that in the description. So, but the big topic from this last weekend, from Saturday, was the attempted assassination on Trump. So we want to kind of talk about that a little bit, and also talk about Corey Comperatore. Um, so I'll
Demographic.
let Corey talk about him.
Oh, just what can you really say? It was a guy like everyone else. He was retired, from what I hear. He was retired, 50 years old, and he was just enjoying an afternoon. So it's a
Yeah, I mean,
terrible thing for him and his family. That's I don't know.
Yeah, he was out there with
What do
his
you think?
family. It was in Pennsylvania, and I know that it was probably, can't remember the exact temperature on Saturday.
It was
It
hot.
wasn't it was in the 80s. It was in the mid 80s, but it was fairly muggy. I don't think we were under a heat advisory, but still pretty warm. And so you're out there with a bunch of people, you're jam packed, you're trying to have fun by being at this rally for Trump. You're around armed personnel at a fairground.
You would
And the
expect
thing
everything would
is,
be okay. Yeah.
And the thing is, when you go into these places, when you go into a stadium, when you go into like a concert venue or anything like that, you're expected a certain level of security because you're not allowed to go in there armed, right?
Mhm.
Normally there's metal detectors. Trump has Secret Service. There's police officers, there's sheriffs probably there. You have all
Oh yeah.
sorts of the local police, everybody's there, right? And you're
You would
seeing
expect
or
it.
these
Yeah. Right.
or private security too probably was there. So
Yeah, it's
you're
in the crowd.
expected, especially with Secret Service, you're expected a different level of security, like completely different than anything that you would ever see going to a concert, going football game, baseball game, whatever, what have you, right? You're expected a much different type of security. So you almost, I feel like in those moments, you almost let your guard down a bit, which I don't blame anybody because you're there to enjoy yourself. You're
Well,
there
yeah,
to let go.
like you just listed, like under what other circumstances, like should you be safer, right? Like, because you
Mm.
can't fly an airplane over it, you can't get within, like they're supposed to say, I don't know the distance, but not feet, hundreds of feet.
He was
Thought it was
100
like a
and
quarter mile, like there was a no-fly zone, like I don't know, like there was a definite breakdown. More information's coming out by the day. And time will tell,
well,
what's going on, I
well,
think.
there's certain elevated places that they're supposed to survey. I was listening to a podcast with Tucker Carlson podcast today. He had Tim Kennedy
Mm,
on, and he's done security details for numerous amount of people. He's also he fought in the UFC, so he's a professional fighter. Plus, he was special forces, I believe. All that, all that jazz. So he knows his way around this community.
mhm.
He
Yeah,
knows exactly what they do before and what they do after these or after rallies, events where a lot of security is maintained, right?
right.
So he was going over all of this stuff and is like, they dropped the ball here, 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 and here. Like he's like the whole
Yeah.
thing was shambles and
Well,
shambles.
apparently there was state police snipers in that building, underneath it, like inside it, while the guy
Yes.
was up there for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Apparently he had a rangefinder, what I read today, and he was up there sighting in for 30 minutes up on this roof, back and forth. And I think there's some big
Oh, you heard.
ficus tree. Okay, because where he has his ladder, I don't know why they're saying it's a 5-foot ladder, because that roof's not 5 foot, and that's an A-frame ladder, so that's an
Well, there.
inconsistency.
Well, I heard that the ladder was fixed, that it was actually attached to the roof,
No,
like a ship's ladder.
that's a different section, I think, and so that's the
Oh.
other part too, because you're gonna have like overlapping sections and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, they say he was up there for 30 minutes. So, like you're saying, there
Right.
was an overlap, there was an oversight at the very minimum. Clearly,
Well,
because this shouldn't have happened.
I think there was at least 5 minutes from where people started telling, telling the cops and telling
Got,
the Secret Service that
got, I
people were
saw,
up there.
no,
A police officer went up there,
got,
but
no, there's more information now. There was police officers who took pictures of this gentleman 30 minutes prior and reported him to command as a suspicious person. There was eyes
was
on
he
him
on
the
the
whole
roof
time.
at that time?
No, he was in
Was
the
he on
parking
the?
lot.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They had eyes on him, and they were already talking about him way before. So for him to be up there walking around,
Hmm.
it doesn't make sense. And then the state police were locked off, and they had to like ram a fence just to get through. But by the time they got
Hmm.
there, the guy was, you know, dispatched. There
Right.
was there were some things set up that were don't really make sense. You wouldn't have this much of a vulnerability that close.
Right. You shouldn't. There was a water tower right there that should have been surveyed. There was those buildings, and now I
They're saying
heard
what?
that
The slope was too big, so they couldn't put a sniper on there when the on the building behind Trump was steeper.
it was. That's what I was just
So
about to say. It looked
it's
visibly steeper.
there's some type of malice going on, and it's better to lie than admit malice.
Yeah. It's almost it's
I don't know.
easier for them right now to admit ignorance, to play stupid. It
And they
is.
kind of do
It's
because just say organically you're still in the very beginning stages of an investigation and putting pieces together. I'll
yeah.
give them that. You can't just make a determination instantly. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
are still
Well,
learning a lot.
well, you have this. You have the same people that are investigating it were the same people that were trying to get him at Mar-a-Lago for um, the secret
Yeah,
files.
for the case that has
So,
now been dismissed because Jack Smith is unconstitutionally
yep,
appointed. He hasn't been
yep.
appointed by anyone. It doesn't, you know.
Yeah, Thomas Massey brought that up. He asked him. Yeah, well, he was either was it did he talk to Mayorkas or I don't know. He's like,
This
who?
is
I think he was talking directly to him. He asked
this is
him, "Were
judge.
you?
This
Are
is the
you?
Judge
You
Cannon
weren't?
case, though. It's different.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so what they put
so
Steve Bannon in jail for is what Merrick Garland's actively doing to current sitting members of Congress.
hmm
Congress has been requesting tapes from Biden's interview with the special counsel as a matter of public interest, and they've requested them, and the Attorney General's office of the United States has refused to give them over. And so
right.
then Congress issued subpoenas demanding to hand them over, and they still refused. And so, what Steve Bannon's in jail for is what Merrick Garland's currently doing, which his office jailed Steve Bannon for. So, if it's not political persecution, why is it okay for one and not the other?
We live in times, and right now it's upside down. It is rules for me, rules for thee, and not
Yeah,
for
and that.
me
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
type
that was
thing
kind of
going on.
off a tangent there.
Well, that's fine. That opened up. I mean that brought light to a bunch of stuff. I I know that stuff right now is topsy turvy with the DOJ and all that. It just everything that
The administrative
mainstream
state is
media,
too big, is what it comes down to.
well,
That's why it's
everything
so
that
confusing.
everything that I'm just going to say it, the left is saying that they are projecting because they're saying that Trump is going to release the hounds on them when he gets into office. Well,
Right.
they're doing that to him and the people that were following him. They're
For the last
doing
3.5
that
years, yeah.
to him right now.
Well, before Trump ever got elected, they were doing it. Operation Hurricane, or whatever that was,
Hmm.
Crossfire Hurricane, was a made-up, fictitious ploy, and the people all involved in that should be in jail, but they are all still in positions of power, still have security clearances, all of it. And so
Hmm.
it really goes back to before Trump was even elected. Why people think he's bad is based upon a predication that never existed. Because John McCain got a document that was created out of thin air, never existed.
Right. And the thing is, these people stay in their positions, or they move from department to department or into the private, or yeah, they stay in their departments throughout administrations. And I think that is a big issue. I think that's a huge. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know the exact solution, but you can't change anything when you're coming in, whether you're Republican or Democrat, if you don't start identifying the fundamentals of these certain agencies. If you just keep letting them do what they do, and since what was it, the Chevron deference
So
or whatever it was,
Chevron deference, that
yeah,
was a great ruling for the individual. It really is, because you
yes,
have an unelected bureaucracy deciding penalties for things that you and I, our representative, haven't given anyone. Like, we haven't
hmm,
given them that power to decide you're going to get fined $5,000 a day for this or that. Congress
right,
is supposed to be deciding on every single one of these things, and for 40 years, Congress has just signed over all these responsibilities to unelected people, and then
yeah,
continuously turned around and told us we can't do anything. It's these agencies; they have this power, and
right.
they gave it to them.
Yeah, they get to bury their head in the sand. They get to plead ignorance, and it's like if you break a law, right? You just can't plead ignorance to breaking a certain law, whatnot.
You can
You're
if you're Hillary.
responsible.
She didn't have intent.
Well, same with Joe Biden. He's too old,
He's too
right,
old to go on trial, so we
to
can't
prosecute.
charge him with what
Yeah.
we know that he is in fact guilty of,
Yes.
but he can
Oh,
be president.
wild times. Yeah. I mean, if anything from the past couple weeks, well, the past 4 years for people who have been paying attention, um, you've seen. I mean, there was a decline before he even became president,
Oh
and
yeah, if
but
we're
people,
talking about that, hey, if you were surprised that Joe Biden needs to be put in a mental institution only within the last couple weeks, I don't know where you've been. Like, I guess the media and Operation Mockingbird is still alive and well, and it's working great,
mhm.
because it was clear from anytime Biden spoke, anytime he walks, he stops, he's yelling, but I guess everything's been a craftful masterpiece, right? And now
he,
we're at a period where in their mind they think, okay, we can't hide him anymore because we've been hiding him, right? Because there's been long
mhm.
periods. It'll be weeks at a time. Biden has no press conferences. But yet within the last 2 days, 4 days, Biden's out there. Keep trying. And of course, the laws of averages, he's going to mess up. And so people are now
Well,
seeing him mess up when he does it all the time. Like, it's
you know why they started putting him out so much now, right? Because
they have to show something.
10 Trump had like 10 to 15 point leads on him in battleground states. That's what the polls were saying. Now, how much I believe the
Mm.
polls, I think that they're all fabricated to a certain extent. Like, they didn't ask me um, what I thought. So
And it's
I
funny
think
you
they're
say
mostly
that because they
fabricated.
ask me all the time.
Oh, I get texts from candidates. I got the libertarian candidate text
Oh, and that's
message a couple
terrible.
weeks
Yeah, I
ago.
get those all the
I
time
just
too.
I just got a
But
text just
so
now from
honestly, I don't answer the polls. I haven't answered the polls in like 5 years
uh
because, like you're saying, I don't know if I really want to be part of that. I feel
yeah.
like it's weaponized against me. They use this data. People use this data in ways that most
Well,
people can't
they
comprehend yet.
a lot of times I feel like, especially when it was Trump going against Hillary in 2016, right? They were saying that Hillary's going to win by a landslide. And I felt like it was done on purpose to not get the Republicans out there to vote. It's like, well, if it's already done, then it's done. Like, how am I?
Mhm.
If she's already gonna win my state by a million votes, then my one vote's not gonna matter, right? And then
It is
somehow turn the opposite
definite.
way.
It's definite leading for sure.
So, so whatever And the thing is now, after after this assassination attempt,
How
now you're starting
does
to see more voices out there.
Well, you're seeing the true media, okay? For the media to come out and say Trump fell, Trump hid from popping noises, and every clown level headline, anyone who was watching it, anyone who was there, it was apparent within the first pop exactly what happened.
Mhm.
I was watching it live. The second it happened, I just started yelling, shooting. They're shooting.
Mhm.
And Brooke was coming through the doorway and she didn't even know what to say. And I was just staring at it like they blew his head off. That's what I was thinking because all I saw was him like disappear.
Mhm.
And it was just,
Well, yeah,
I was
after the
like, this
first
is
pop,
crazy.
after the first pop, he reaches for his ear. Like
Hmm.
if it was just like a balloon or a firework, why would he reach for his face? Wouldn't he just get startled and do something? Wouldn't it just like
No, like what
freak him out a little bit?
he said it felt like a mosquito by his ear.
Oh,
The
yeah.
loudest, giant, most
The
biggest
biggest mosquito.
mosquito. And I bet it was. Yeah, that sucker was going fast by his ear.
I bet it was hot.
Yeah.
It's like getting your
It's hot.
finger smashed, I assume. That thing gets hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot. It's
Although
going
probably much
fast.
worse. Have you ever gotten hit in the ear? Or have something hit you in the ear, walk into something and hit you in the ear? It burns.
I don't know. And then
It's
I
like
saw
red hot.
some actor was
I can
saying
only
something
imagine a bullet.
about his bandage or whatnot, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
bro, you're gonna feel real bad when he takes it off and there's a whole piece missing. You know, like
Yeah.
what a dumb thing to say. Like just take 1 minute to process the events and then have an opinion. Don't just react because so many people are sounding so. You're the definition of the insensitivity you claim everyone else to be.
Right. Well, like I've been saying all along, I mean, there's projection on both sides, don't get me wrong, but you're starting to see the projection now. You're starting to see it go the opposite way. There's Kyle Gass from Tenacious D, right? Him and Jack
Mhm.
Black were doing an event, and Jack Black wishes Kyle Gass happy birthday. And he's like, make a wish. And he's like, I wish the shooter didn't miss. It's like, this is the day after, or 2 days after. It's like you're the side that tells everybody that the orange man is bad and that his words are awful. The rhetoric is violent.
Well, Scott,
It's divisive to the country. When you
we're
have people like this,
Scott,
when you
we're,
have
we're
Johnny Depp
beyond.
saying that an
No, we're
actor
beyond.
should assassinate a president.
Scott, we're beyond paying people like that attention because it does nothing. It does nothing for the
Oh, I
general
know.
discourse of anyone, right?
I don't
And
know. I
so
just stopped watching their stuff. Hit them where it hurts.
we're done because I could sit here and articulate easily 3 different reasons, policy positions Joe Biden enacted within the first 100 days that directly impacted my life within the 100 days of them being impacted negatively,
Mm-hmm.
right? And very few, if any, of these detractors of Trump can name 3 policy positions that directly impacted their life from 2016 to 2020. They say
Right.
he's Hitler, they say he's doing this and that, but they've
Mm-hmm.
never articulated something. Obama
Mm-hmm.
impacted me when he took away the work requirement for food stamps. We don't need to get into why, but it did. And that's one reason why I don't like Obama, because he de incentivized work in America.
Right.
And
Well, that's
so
what welfare does for the most part. Because
it had a
if
cascading
you
effect for the next 4 years, all right, until Trump came into office and he reversed that policy.
right. Because if you don't make a certain amount of money, you get welfare. But once you go over that cap, now you don't get it, but you're still in the same boat. You're still making the same amount of money. So why? For some people, it doesn't make any sense to work harder or to better themselves when they're just going to be
comfortable.
making the same amount a year or two from now, right? So but I think us, the people
Most
in
people
general,
want
want
the next level,
better.
right?
Yes,
They're looking for
but
that next thing.
But right now, it's like, in order to get a step up, you gotta almost cheat the system. You gotta follow the Pelosi's. You gotta follow whichever
Wow.
Republican, Dan Crenshaw. Watch their stocks and see what they invest in
But it
order
takes
to
money to
gain.
invest it into that, and
Right,
you can't
right, and
do
you're
it when
gambling.
energy costs have robbed you of all your earnings, right? All our
Energy
problems
costs,
resolve
grocery costs.
all our problems resolve around energy. We have abandoned energy production in America in many aspects. Our inflation is entirely energy production based. Your food costs are high because energy is expensive. It's just all what it
Right,
comes down to. That's why when Trump came into office in 2016, his first objective was to become energy independent.
right,
And for the last 2 years of his presidency, you had low gas prices, you had low wholesale prices, you had low energy costs. We've had very high energy costs for the last 3 years. Everything's
right.
very expensive because of it. And it's just that simple. We have all the resources to make as much energy as cheaply as possible here. More than
Mhm.
anywhere else on Earth, basically. It's our advantage. And we have turned our back to it for some fake agenda to centralize power in a very small amount of people,
Mhm.
which is green energy. Because if we
Right.
had real green energy, you would have localized, I forgot what they're called, but you have smaller nuclear reactors that are localized. You don't
Mhm.
have giant ones powering entire sections of states. You have smaller ones.
Right.
That's the future. That and
Mhm.
solar. Solar has a role, but not in the way that they're cramming it down people's heads.
And the thing is, a nuclear plant makes up its money within weeks,
So
or
yeah,
at
there's
least it's at least a couple months. It actually makes up the money that it took to build it.
yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
I'm pro
It's
nuclear.
That's how
My
efficient.
grandfather
That's how
worked at a
efficient
nuclear power plant.
nuclear is.
I see no problem with it.
I don't see any problem with that. We've had incidents in the past, but that's also due to negligence.
They're almost
And
always.
once
It's
you
just
get
like when
those,
people say ban fireworks, it's because someone was negligent with it.
yes,
99% of the time, they work perfectly as
it
intended. It's
reminds
the
me.
person launching it off the balcony.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
We don't need to get into specifics. We are survivors.
Yeah, and then we had to try and find my cat for about what, 2 hours. We had to look for the cat because we scared the cat.
Only the first time, and then they're used to
Mr.
it.
Chunk.
It's
Mr.
okay.
Chunk. That was a good cat. He was a cool dude. But yeah.
You ready? You ready for meme harvesting?
Yep. We're meme farming for you. That's us. This is not a doctored picture.
I'm
These
actually
are
holding a
the-
rake. That's not.
These are
Photoshop.
the hills of. It's Napa Valley. We went there.
Yeah.
We went there back in October, right before we started this podcast. That's Napa Valley. That is.
The weather was great. It was just changing. Perfect.
Yes. Perfect for a cowboy hat and his flat brim cap.
All right, here. Look at this one.
All right.
Like, really? I'd be kind of confused too.
I would be. I don't know what I would say. It looks like a Halloween costume.
All doctored up.
But
with
being
horsehair
native, you don't know
wigs.
what Halloween is, and you're just like, what is this? I mean, they had weird like penny loafer shoes. They had their pants all bunched up here. They had, jackets that look like these little tails on the back,
Someone told me this
like
a long time ago.
tuxedo
Yeah, like
tails.
they wouldn't like that's their version of an alien. You know, they have no idea
Mhm.
who this is. Like,
Oh, absolutely,
all
yeah.
right,
Coming
now for
from the
the
future.
best part of your fridge, butter. It has its own penthouse in the fridge.
You can also just leave it on the counter.
That's well, we have multiple sticks around here.
Yeah, you can just leave butter on the counter.
That's the
I
spread
don't
in
know
butter.
why it has to. Oh yeah, you can put this. Caitlin done gave up.
That's right. He knows Trump's coming back. All right, what else we got here? POV, it's 2026, and the shopkeeper just told me I can't buy anything without the mark of the beast.
Oh yeah. Oh, they were just talking about that. So I was
We're
listening
getting
to
close.
another episode of Tucker Carlson, and he had John Rich. So if you're not familiar with John Rich, he is one half of Big and Rich, the country band. So he had a new song out called Revelation, and it's talking about you're right before Christ comes back, right? So, and they were talking about that with central currency and all that fun stuff, and like you're not going to be able to buy anything unless you have the mark of the beast, or dollar bills or the
Hey,
digital currency that's probably going to get rolled out within the next 5 or 10 years.
you know what's beautiful about that? Is Brooke was saying, Trump gets in there, we have world peace. What preludes world peace? The end times. So yeah, it kind of goes along with the mark of the beast, and
Mhm.
who knows? We'll see. The future is bright.
Right.
All right,
We got any more?
I got another one here.
All right.
Well, I don't. This one might be old. I don't know. No,
Hey,
it's
your
not.
oil change is done, but we noticed you need a new air filter. We can install that today if you like. I mean, if you have it, yeah. Cool.
All right. Here we go. This is for all our.
Oh yeah. I
This is
posted
for
that
all
on
our
our Facebook
friends.
today. You fought in the meme wars. I was a shit poster
And
once, yes.
I like Brooke's take. It is more a living history, you know.
Hmm.
And so she told me
Oh
I
yeah,
should make a history through memes book because it
an
explains a lot.
almanac.
Mm-hmm.
An almanac, like
Yeah.
a timeline. It
Yeah.
almost tells you exactly what year, what month with these memes. And I go through my phones and I'm like, oh yeah, remember when I was sharing all of the Area 51 memes, where we were
Which was
supposed
recent.
to raid
Mm-hmm.
Area 51. That was in
A couple days
2020.
ago. A couple days ago, yeah. 2020.
Yeah. Back in 2020, the area we were supposed to, a bunch of people showed up, but nothing happened, right? And so you
I
just had
know.
people,
That's why I didn't
running
share
around
any
like
of the
this.
memes. Scott, I didn't share
You
any of the
had
memes
people
because it
running-
was it said something about
Yeah, but I thought it was so funny, so I was sharing
I thought
all of
more
the
people
alien
would
memes.
show up. That's why
Ah,
I was kind of
I
disappointed.
know. I was waiting for Independence Day, the movie type stuff, like just Winnebagos.
Yes,
Just a
storming the
stack
desert.
of, like an army of Winnebagos.
Mhm.
That's what I was hoping for. Just everybody living in their van down at Area 51.
Got nothing. You know why?
I mean, I wanted to do it.
It's because they don't make trucks like this anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Perfect segue.
Mhm.
I love it. Dude,
Look at those beauties.
you can buy all three. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you have the van, full lifestyle. You have the Bronco for the most extreme conditions, and then you have the
Well, I'm
truck
gonna
just
assume-
to show off and move things around. Look good.
I'm going to assume that the Bronco's 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
You can haul whatever you want in the truck, and then you can go out to the beach or whatever out in the woods in your van.
Yeah, the Bronco says it's hard to see in this picture, but it says emergency service on the side windows.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to save you.
I see the whoopee lights on top. I see the
All
whoopee
right.
lights. Dude, look at that little window that they have on the roof of the Bronco. Look at that little pop-up roof.
Oh, you have
That
the little
thing's
baby
tight.
sunroof.
Yeah, a little
The
baby
truck
sunroof.
has dual sunroofs. You see that?
Oh, I did not notice that. It's almost like T-tops, but way
And it's
cooler.
got those air horns on top. No impediments from the grill.
Absolutely. Look at the sweet spoiler on the van. That thing's going fast. Got to create downforce
Yeah.
when you're hauling
Side
on the
pipes.
freeway.
Everything has side pipes. I like it.
Everything has side pipes. It is nice. It's like they took some ideas off of the Corvette Stingray. They're like, yeah, side pipes, cool. Let's make them
All
beefy and turn out for the wheels.
Got another here.
All right, feminism in
Uh-oh.
movies. Feminism in reality. Yeah, so there was 2 females that were one. That's her. That's one of them, and then another one was off stage, ducking like this under the stage. If you're Secret Service, your one job is to be a bullet meat sack. That's your job.
It is.
That's your job. Your job is to protect one person, whether it's Trump, Biden, whoever it is. If you're Secret Service, you have literally one job, and that is to throw your body on top of him.
It's to get in the way.
Just to get in the way. That is
Right.
your job. That is what you're getting paid. That's what your training was for. There's other people with long guns around. Your job is to be that bullet meat sack. So,
It's true.
unfortunately, but that's what you signed up for. You just can't cower behind. And also,
Wow.
it doesn't
seen
help
it,
being a whole
right?
foot shorter than Trump.
So I've seen this. I've seen this online. I've seen it time and time again. No one really knows how they're gonna react in a
Yes.
combat situation, like
Right.
under stress, being shot at, loud noises. You really don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
she didn't know. Maybe she did.
Right.
I don't know. You can't have any doubt, like you're saying, in that position.
Right.
Because other people you saw, they reacted right in the right way. The
Yeah.
second it did happen, they went in for the
Mhm.
tackle. They did exactly like a textbook maneuver. Because
Yeah.
I've heard some people say, "Why didn't they move faster?" I was like, "You ain't moving any faster than that." The second it
Right.
happened, they went after him. Like this, just you can't get ahead of something that hasn't happened.
Right. Like there's a certain distance to cover, whether it's 5 yards, 10 yards, and there's only so fast you can get to those 10 yards
Hmm.
in that time. Also, your mind has to process what's going on first. So you got to wait for the ping in your head to then react. And then now the clock has already started though.
Yeah.
You don't get to start the clock when you realize what's going on. So, and unfortunately, fortunately for us, we do know how we would react under those situations. So, being under fire, me running over a roadside bomb, we know how we've reacted in the past. Hopefully, maybe.
I just
We don't
want
have
other
to ever
people
react to
give
that,
people
but
grace because like you're saying, we know. We have
yeah.
an expectation of how things would go down if I was faced with that. Other people are making some very bold assumptions and you
Right.
should pump the brakes on it.
Well, there's a lot of expectations when it comes to this. It's like when you watch an NFL player. It's so how I thought about it today. It was like
Mm.
taking a high school football player and throwing him in an NFL game mid-season or into the Super Bowl. Throwing a high school player, maybe they could be good or not. They could be top number one high schooler in the nation, right? You have the
Mhm.
number one high schooler in the nation, wide receiver. You put him in the Super Bowl with a bunch of NFL players that are probably 60 pounds heavier than he is. They've been playing the sport a lot longer. How fast is the pace of play different from high school? It's incredible. This is the situation. This was the situation that they were put in. They were put into a high intensity, high adrenaline type situation. The game moved way too fast for them. Mm-hmm. Everything was a blur to them. They had no idea what was going on, where to go. Everything just flies right out the window when it's too fast for you. You start to get confused. You start to pull in, withdraw, and it was just too fast for them. That situation, there was just, it got to them. It froze them. So yeah, I understand that, and that's what happened. They didn't have the proper training or experience to be able to deal with this.
Yeah, and there's some stories that, some of the agents were like backup, or they were pulled off of other details just for it. And, if you're a greenhorn, you're a greenhorn. Well, so it's going to happen, right?
They've been asking for more Secret Service members for a while now. And so is Robert Kennedy.
Well, they finally granted it to him, so
yeah,
I did see that.
Well, that was after this attempt.
Yeah,
Trump called Kennedy, or Trump asked for Kennedy to get this, and then Kennedy was like, "Oh, thank you, Biden. I appreciate it." I'm like, it wasn't for the guy that took the bullet in the ear, you wouldn't have crap right now.
Apparently not, unfortunately.
It's wild that it takes this amount of negligence, if you want to call it negligence. There's just this amount of craziness. Breakdown for stuff to be taken seriously, because for the past 9 years, the media has played Trump to be the devil, to be Hitler, to be Mussolini, to be Stalin, right? To be these figures.
While
and what's
never
the joke?
Showing...
And there's a joke, right? There's a joke. If you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you do it? Or it's not a joke, but it's a saying, though, right? So yeah. So what would you do with adult Hitler? What would you want to do with adult Hitler? You would want to get rid of him. So this is the rhetoric that has been pushed through the mainstream media from corporate media to the nation, to half of the citizens around here. That's why one half is like, you guys are idiots. You're all against us. You're all lies. And then the other side of the spectrum of things, there's a bunch of people in the middle that think both sides are dorks or whatever, right? But for the most part, on one side, they're taking it all in because they only see these certain clips of him, or Biden saying something smart or intellectual at certain points in time. They only see those certain things. They don't see him going off the rails and acting angry and saying, let's put Trump in the bullseye, right? Because if Trump said, let's put Biden in the bullseye, totally different. Dangerous rhetoric. We got to calm things down. And now we're at the point of where we've got to calm things down. Y'all have put this in place. Y'all put the wheels in motion for this to happen. It's insane now.
Off of a lie. Off of a Steele dossier, which was a lie. That's what it all bases on. The basis of the hatred comes from that point. Because before that point, he had a TV show, and he had a clothing line, and he was just perfectly fine.
He was getting awards from the NAACP.
He beat Hillary, and Hillary could see herself going down in flames, that she had to release the parachute of Crossfire Hurricane. Comes down to that. And so people either need to accept that fake reality, that Trump did this thing that didn't exist, that's based on a document that was completely fabricated out of thin air, or that you were lied to and move on from it. That there's
Right.
possibly other lies that you still subscribe to wholeheartedly.
There's
A lot
plenty.
of them. Nearly all of them. That's the problem.
It's
And they see it collapsing because for 4 years they were told Biden's competent. Just
right.
3 months ago, you have Gavin Newsom saying he's a master class candidate.
Right.
Okay, who uses that term? That's what Sam's Club uses on their fancy barbecue equipment. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're not saying this for the Oscar Mayer hot dog. Okay,
Right.
but then within mere moments, it's broken down into a guy who should be in a hospice care.
Right.
That's who he's been this whole time.
Right. But to piggyback off of the Hitler stuff, they went 9 years. So 9 years of calling Pelosi, calling him Hitler, saying that he's a threat to democracy.
You're right.
But after this assassination attempt, she goes, "Thank God he's all right. Thank God he's safe." Would you say that to somebody that you call Hitler or you think's Hitler? Would you ever say that to them or about them? No. You wouldn't go, "Oh, thank God Hitler didn't kill himself. That's crazy. That's crazy that he attempted it. Good thing it didn't happen." No, Hitler did kill himself, and we're very happy about it.
Yeah.
Right?
So I
So,
guess that's what it goes back to me saying about
what's the deal? It's hypocritical. All of this is hyperbolic when it comes from them, when it comes from mainstream media, and
Very
the
emotional.
24/7 news cycle just perpetuates it over and over again. You were talking about the Steele dossier and all of the Russian collusion and stuff that proved to be false. That was on the news every day, that he was Putin's puppet, that he was doing Putin's bidding. Putin got him in office. And it turned out to be completely wrong, 100% fabricated, just like the secret documents at Mar-a-Lago. They put these papers on top of his documents saying super secret. They printed those out and then put them on there to make it look 100% worse than what it was. And he was approved to have those.
He did have a secure, compartmentalized facility at Mar-a-Lago. You're right.
Yeah.
It wasn't an open air garage like Joe Biden. He had the exact
next to his
same
Corvette
scenario.
Yeah, not in boxes next to his Corvette in his vacation home.
Trump can rely on the fact that he's president and he has the privilege to do what he wants when you're president, and you can separate and unclassify and do things. Joe Biden took documents as senator. He does not have that privilege or the right to do so.
He took him as VP. He took him as
senator before that.
Oh, did he?
That's what I'm saying. This guy's been a problem.
I thought those.
This guy was out here. Really, we got to go back to that video.
Oh, he says
he's accosting a voter in like 1975, talking about how smart he is, and it was all lies. Like, this guy is still around after just standing and yelling at a guy's face that I'm smarter than you, and lists off he went to Yale, did all these things that he never did. That's crazy to me that you have that much gusto. You can get up there and face someone's face off and say, I'm smarter than you. I've gone to Yale, and he barely graduated. Whatever school he went to, I don't know.
Oh, he's also saying that he was a fighter for civil rights. I believe it's the opposite.
For every minority.
I believe he was for segregation. He wanted to keep everybody separate. And when it came to the crime bill, in 94, he was talking about keeping, I don't want to say exactly what he said because it is, you're calling a certain group of people a certain animal. So
you guys can look it up. I mean, I don't know.
There's video. It's still on. Those videos are still on YouTube. They haven't been taken down. But
the problem there is there's a pattern of misconduct that has been consistent for decades, when the opposite is true for the other person that you say is doing this wrong thing. It seems disproportionate. You can make up your own mind, but you can't separate the historical fact that this other person has technically been lying at every single juncture, over and over
Mm-hmm.
again. And you keep acting, and then they keep saying like this guy's so innocent, and he's just
He's your
give
grandpa.
him a break that he can't process these things, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not a bad thing.
He knows too much. He's got too much in his brain to be able to process it coherently at that time, and he's got
It
a
was like
stutter,
that
so he's got to be
comment
able to
about him
slow it down.
threatening to do more push-ups than that 34-year-old. Remember in 2020?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "I support you. Why are you attacking me?" And
He called
I'm
that.
sitting here telling everyone his mind's gone. Look, he's yelling
Yeah.
at a supporter, and everyone's like, "How cute!"
Mhm. Yeah. There was. He
Lots
called
of
another
signs.
supporter. He called another supporter fat. He's like, "Hey, listen here, fat." All right, that made me laugh. So I cried
Yes.
and said to the Chad, "You're racist," and the Chad said, "Yes." I mean, if you're gonna call me that, then that's on you. That's not on me. We actually had a comment on one of our shorts that said, "You two look like the nicest racist," and I didn't reply to it. I let it sit for a couple hours on that video, and then I was like, I don't even want to entertain it, because I was gonna say something like, "Well, God bless you. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah.
Hope you can listen to our podcast, understand
Can't
our
engage.
side, whatever. If you would like to send a message, go for it." But we are. I mean, we
If
love
you would
everybody.
to join us, we can send you the link.
Yeah. So it was a brand new. It was a brand new YouTube channel. I went on his page. He didn't have anything uploaded until like a week later, and it was just him posting about his family and being a good dad or something like that, or one of their kids' birthdays. And I was like, you're posting this stuff on people's pages, calling them a racist, and then you're posting stuff about your family. You're exposing your family to who you think is racist.
Yeah.
Do you see the problem with that?
They're like, yeah,
You're
my algorithm with it.
You're inviting yourself to violence. You're inviting yourself to the people that you hate. Why would you want to do that? And of course,
he hates
I looked
himself,
at it.
You know, that's
I was thinking about commenting on the video, saying, "What a beautiful family you have. Thank you for commenting on our page." But then again, I was like, you know what? I just don't want to do it. I just don't. There's other things on his page that it was gonna, like, he assumed stuff with us, so I assumed a little bit with him just because of what he said on the page. So he came out right away and said that we were the nicest racist, and then I was like, well, there's some stuff on his page. He's probably not even gonna read my full message. He's probably just gonna blow up on me. Why are you on my page? Why are you stalking me? Well, I mean, you messaged me first. So technically not really stalking you. I'm just replying back, but I wanted to do it in a thoughtful way.
Just saying the easiest way is to not engage.
Yeah, I sent it to you. I sent you the screenshot, and this was after I had already deleted it. And you're like, well, just make sure that you're nice. Kill them with kindness, I guess, is not your exact words, but you said something to those effects. You said, all right, just be gracious in your actions or what you say back. And I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, one, I don't want this page to be hateful. This is not the point of this podcast. Point of this podcast is to get some stuff off our chest. It's for you and me to hang out. It's for you and me to get our buddies to hang out with us and talk about whatever is under the sun. That's it. It's just to release some steam. We're normal people. We're not here to hate you. We're here to, we hate the government, but that is what it is. So, and we hate the machine itself. We don't hate necessarily.
The machine represents, by and large, what? Fraud, waste, and abuse. And those things are unnecessary in many aspects.
Right.
Those are somewhat elective in a lot of instances. And so that's the frustration, is that it continues unabated over and over again. That's what
Right.
I'm against. I'm against the open air flaunting of the fraud, waste, and abuse. Other people would call it money laundering or stealing and, misappropriations. Whatever you want to classify it as, there's a huge overhead of waste that we're losing on.
Mm-hmm.
So every
Well, I mean, we
billion
saw
that
that
goes
first.
out is attached with millions of dollars in waste.
Right. I mean, we saw that on a small scale being in the Army. Being in the motor pool, something breaks, you just bought a
Scott,
whole new one.
we saw it all with the whole pandemic and the loans. Okay, so they give everyone these loans. All the Congress members get the
Oh, yeah.
loans. All the connected people get loans, knowing that they would all be absolved at a certain date later. They just had to make it to a
Mhm.
certain point. Most of these people
Right.
have never paid back those loans. They don't need to.
Right.
They knew they wouldn't have to. And so that's what they do with the NGO funding and a lot of other aspects in getting their government funding. So the second you start saying, let's ratchet it in, that's when people get real mad, right?
Right.
The problem.
Well,
That's what we need to control.
I'd say Congress doesn't get paid until we start actually balancing a budget and start, making money,
I know.
selling stuff to countries instead of just buying.
That goes, Scott. That goes back to energy. So
I
if
know.
you get the energy down, it'll be all right.
I've got all the energy right now,
Oh,
baby.
Scott,
Let's go.
I wanted to share this.
Put me on that hamster wheel, dog, for myself.
My $4 T-shirt design. You ready?
$4 T-shirt design. Let's go.
Crock pot cowboy beans. It's a recipe.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's super awesome.
You
It's a
should
great
put tar and
recipe,
feather
too.
somewhere in there.
I was so excited.
Or what
great
about Brooks? Freedom.
Scott, it's actually Brooke's dad's
Flourishing and
recipe
freedom.
or something. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wear it to their house and
That's
make
funny.
the recipe while wearing it and see how long it takes.
You should put his name on the bottom.
Oh, I should have put his picture like subdued behind it.
Oh, even better. Get him like in front of the grill or something.
Yeah, cooking the
All right,
beans.
take a picture of him when you see him next, and just sneak it in there.
And
Be extra sneaky.
we didn't show this earlier. Our logo.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to hit it. I am still weak in the squat department, but I'll just plus up everything else.
Yeah, if you can hit 350 on squat, 350 on, if you can hit 350 on squat, 400 at least on deadlift, then you only need 250 for bench.
Yeah. No, bench
And
bench is way at like 330 right now, easy.
You're at 330?
Oh, I could do 3 plates, yeah.
Nice.
I think I
Good
could.
stuff, dude. I know I need to up my game on.
But so I haven't been doing a lot of
chest.
bench because I've been doing those push-ups, right? So I've been really throttling back on heavy weight to try and avoid being sore in the evening. So
yeah, but the push-ups are gonna be your stretch.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like stretching. So after you're done, well, obviously doing push-ups after you bench is almost impossible. If you do a good chest workout, you shouldn't be able to knock out one push-up.
Yeah, it's like doing legs and then walking upstairs.
And or trying to jump. Trying to jump after doing legs. Have fun with that. Or trying to sprint and just fall on your face about 3 steps in. It's like, oh no, these things are heavy. They also don't control themselves. I'm like a baby deer.
Okay, I have a video too for my push-up club update.
All right.
It's my short video. So far,
365.
Yep. So far, I am at day 47.
Mm-hmm.
We are at 1,739 push-ups. I am projected to do 13,505 in a year. And it's honestly way more than that because I'm doing warm-up push-ups. I'm doing push-ups at different points. The number, I have no idea what it actually is.
Right. Well, I did it for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and I was just doing 40, but I was telling Instagram I was doing 36, but I was actually doing 2 sets of 20.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's a nice round number.
Mhm.
But I was just saying, just to keep it within your algorithm, to keep it within your standards, I was like, I'm just doing 36, and then I just keep forgetting because I do my other workouts, but doing push-ups would help probably build some tone, some shape to my chest, some shape that I want. It doesn't feel like it's chesty yet.
Just remember what Samuelson did. Just mix a lot of them in your other exercises.
Oh, ow. Yeah.
Right?
I didn't drink enough water today. I am cramping everywhere. Get in there. These got to get bigger too. I've been working on my arms a little bit more lately because I felt like I'm a tiny guy. My legs feel.
I think that might
they're getting
be
better.
some type of body dysmorphia.
That's the word.
Yeah, Scott, the little guy. Sure.
Why do I always look so tiny? So tiny in the bathroom mirror, but in the gym I'm large and in charge, boy.
It's one of those clown mirrors, isn't it?
Also, I need to put a mirror in the garage because I feel like that would help with workouts too. Being able to see the pump.
You absolutely
going on.
need to. Mm.
Stick it in there,
What I would
son.
suggest, Scott, you can do tomorrow is go to Walmart and get like one of those, door mirrors, and you can put it at least at your squat rack.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, there's a bunch on Facebook Marketplace for like $100.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna put multiples on one side of the wall and just hopefully you can. I just want to glue it because I've got cinder block walls and I don't want to.
I can send you a link for some stuff. Yeah, sure.
Probably some cement glue or something like that.
Just what I would do is just get a big old caulking
liquid
tube.
nail.
Yeah, liquid nail it.
Yeah.
With the gun.
Yeah, just put a couple dabs in the corners and in the middle.
Yeah,
and then just go down the line. I just want to be able to just,
it's important for form. Yeah,
it's very, very good for form because I always like facing the mirror when I do squats. I always like to see what I'm doing, right? Chest exercises, back exercises, being able to see your range of motion.
Yeah. The mirrors on
that's
the
why.
Yeah.
Mirrors on the ceiling. Oh yeah, get that. Ooh, nice.
I'm gonna
nice
come over
chiseled.
to Scott's gym. What
nice
is the name of this place?
Ooh, it's called Mustache Gym.
Mustache. Never mind.
Mustache monkey arms.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting there. Well, it's just all about improving yourself, and I just want to feel like my old self that I did. So when I moved out to Baltimore, I was in terrific shape. I was probably 10 to 12% body fat. This was almost gone. This is the last, like my little chin.
I have to stop you here, though, bud.
So
you were much younger. Okay, so you can't compare yourself.
That was 6 years
to
ago.
that point, right? So stop being so hard. You're not like no. You're not starting from such a bad position, right?
No.
That's why I don't want you to be so hard on yourself. You're doing great.
I can recover from this.
Yeah. There's no recovery. It's not like you're in like. Yeah. You can recover. You will rebuild. You have to. You what started me going, really. It was those legs, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I need to get my squat back up to 400, but I mean, that takes dedication. Once you hit 3 plates with almost any lift, I feel like deadlift is fairly easy to get up to 3 plates,
Deadlift's much
especially
easier than squat.
if you have good form with deadlift, your numbers go up real fast. Squats, good form, numbers go up real fast. I felt like I just could never figure out bench. I could never figure out my leverage with my feet and with my back and getting everything contracted back and then up. But once you tighten those traps up for bench and you lock in and you're in this position, boom.
That's what
It
they
makes it
say.
a whole lot easier. Makes it a whole lot easier. Contract, pinch that pencil in your traps. Pinch that pencil. Boom. Get your lats locked in, and you're able to drive. Now I say that I'm a terrible bencher, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. See.
But practice makes better.
So I was gonna say
So,
I've been bench
practice.
pressing for a very long time, right? And so in
Mhm.
10th grade, I could bench press 3 plates. Or
Right.
no, not 3 plates. Not in 10th grade.
2.
It was 265, and
Yeah,
that was
that's 2
great,
plates
right?
plus.
I was feeling pretty good for whatever age that was, 15 at the
Right.
time. Like, yeah, dude, I was
That's
feeling pretty
huge.
good, you know.
That's
Um,
huge.
but that's because I was bench pressing in like 7th grade, just the bar.
Right.
I could do it 100 times. Actually, I was competing
Right.
with this girl. This girl beat me. She did it like 110 times in a row.
Yeah.
And so you're saying, I've been bench pressing for a very long time. It wasn't like I started when I was 25 or,
Mhm.
30. That is an advantage that you can't get. So that's why when people say don't wait, start, they really
Right.
mean it. It makes a difference.
Right. Yeah, once you do hit I feel like once you hit a certain weight when it comes to squat, deadlift, bench, or maybe running too, maybe running a certain distance, you almost get that muscle memory back rather quickly. Once you get back into the rhythm of things, you do it for a month or two, and you're almost right back to where you left off. At least that's how I
Yeah.
feel.
Um,
Is like
it comes back
your
much
body is
faster.
adaptable. Your body goes back and remembers where you've been. Unless you let yourself go so far, then it is a little bit harder to get yourself back there. But if you don't and you work on it for a month or two, I feel like I tend to regain that strength, that mobility, that stamina. So, but yeah.
I think some of that is part of the process is throttling back. Sometimes you are going to throttle back because it's very difficult to stay 100%. It's difficult right now to do 37 push-ups every single day. This week, there was 2 days when I was like, I have to go do this. I have to.
Mhm.
'Cause that's a goal I've set out. And if I don't keep attaining that, then I only let myself down.
Well, you have an
Ultimately,
Instagram page now for it, and that's keeping you accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I forget how many followers you're at, but
I don't know. Well, so for me, that's just more of like, you're
but
right. That is what keeps me accountable, right? Is posting
yeah,
that every day. And that's for myself, right? Is to keep
right.
myself accountable. I'm not doing it for those 20 people following it. I hope they find something inspirational that, we want healthy habits and it takes us to implement them because we're the adults now, right? There's no one holding us to this standard that we want others to be at. So we have
Right.
to live it. We have to be the standard. And
Hmm.
it takes just little steps continuously and it'll define us. And
Well, we're at that age where when we were kids, you would see your dad and mom, and they're in their 30s, and you're like, man, I wish I'm like them when I'm a grown up. Well,
yeah,
we're there.
strong, right? Yeah.
We're there. Like, man, they know everything. That's
You
pretty
got
neat.
you got to be that light still. You're right.
Yeah. Why are they so calm when shit hits the fan or whatnot? And we're like, right now we're in the same spot that they were in, and we're like, all right, they weren't there. They had a lot going on up here. Somehow they
Yeah.
didn't project it out as much, but yeah, now we're trying to understand that whole concept, and it's pretty crazy.
It's the joys of life.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
So
my brother.
I posted a couple shorts today. If anybody wants to take a look at those from the previous episode, from episode 20 with Dean Remington, I posted 2 shorts. One is Revolution Starts at Home, taking charge of your backyard. Corey goes on a tangent about, getting your ducks in a row. Dean goes on a freedom tangent, talking about from freedom young to freedom old. So passing your ideas and your experiences and your accountability onto the next generation, making sure you pass on generational freedom and making sure that they understand that they can pursue that they don't have to listen to everything that's out there, that's in the news cycle, that's being said to them by random people. Be yourself. You are autonomous. So go watch those shorts. One's a minute long, one's 30 minutes long, or one's a minute long, one's 30 seconds long. Watch the rest of our shorts too. I smoke meats, barbecue meats. Pause. Smoking meats with Mustache Vet. So, and then we got some other shorts from our previous episodes. I will be uploading more shorts from much older episodes. I just got to get the time. So I'll possibly do that this week. I am a bit busy, but maybe this week or next week, I'll get those out there. So you'll get a barrage of shorts. So we'll get those out there, try and get more people following the channel. We are above 100 subscribers.
Oh, we got to do something special now.
I think we're at 101 subscribers. So
all right,
let's go
we're going to figure something out then.
Yeah. So, yeah, we need we're at 101 subscribers. We have 71 videos out, so that's including shorts. We've got 20 episodes out. We got one or two lives that kind of aren't included into the episodes.
Yeah.
One live is included in the episode, so you got to go to that. That's a random video, I guess, but go for it. That's why episode 19 is missing. Anyways, so this is episode 21 from Tar and Feather Podcast. I'm Mustache Vet.
I'm Ganglion Cortex.
Manifest your destiny.
I'm trying to find the outro.
Oh, you go for it.
New one. Oh.